Hi, it's Tisch Aitken, and it's March 14th, 2023. And there is so much at play right now in that we have a lot of planets changing signs this month. And at the moment, Pluto, which is the planet of death and transformation, is at the final degree of Capricorn, where it has been transiting on and off since January of 2008 when we had the financial collapse. And Capricorn is a sign associated with big government, big corporation, and structures and public status. And now we have Saturn, which represents structure and those in authority. Saturn just entered the mutable water sign of Pisces on March 7th, where it's going to transit on and off through February 15th of 2026. And so Saturn is in a new sign. And Saturn, the planet of structure, entered the sign of the unstructured. So it's going to be a very difficult journey. Yet for many of us, I think it might be helpful in a way that although Saturn has been in its dignity, when it was in Capricorn, which was from the very end of 2017 through December of 2020, Saturn was transiting on and off in the sign of Capricorn, which it rules. It's a sign of status, of achievement, of accomplishment. And then it briefly entered Aquarius, which it rules in ancient astrology, from March 23rd of 2020 through July 1st of that year. It returned to Aquarius on December 17th of 2020, and then Jupiter, which is the vision, entered Aquarius on December 20th of 2020. The two met up the closest they had met up in the sky in 800 years, Saturn being the structure, Jupiter being the vision, structuring a new vision of community. Aquarius is equated with community, with infinite brilliance, with futuristic thinking, with ways of networking and again, forming connections, but in modern times, ways of broadcasting information. First it was radio, then television, then the internet and social media at all, And so, we just experienced the Saturn return of the internet, which began in 1991 when Saturn was then transiting at 2 degrees of Aquarius, and it went public on the stock exchange on April 30th of 1994 when it was at the final degree at 29 degrees of Aquarius, where it recently was transiting up until March 7th of last week. And now Saturn is replicating, not everything, because there are other planets that are making big marks in what they're doing, but Saturn is now transiting in Pluto, where it was transiting from 1994 through 1997. And this is focusing a lot on mental health, on addiction, but also in the time that we're in because of the pandemic and because a lot of things have been deferred, discontinued, rearranged, etc. The arts, the musicians, the artists, the performing arts have suffered a lot, and venues too. And so ways to bring attention to that, because that is something that unifies all of us, and also that is very important for dealing with mental health. And for many people, if they're able to come together in person, that's a way, whether it's celebration of many different forms of creativity and love and music, but also I feel that, Pluto is entering Aquarius on March 23rd. So the whole Aquarian theme, pardon me, which began in 2020 when Saturn initially entered Aquarius, that's not done. Now Pluto defaults back to March of 2020, when we first exercise social distancing. And Aquarius is the sign of friends and groups and socializing. And in, times that weren't so focused on technology, socializing in real life and in organic ways. And when Saturn was there, we suddenly had to implement distancing, in which we were doing things remotely and through computers and screens and Zoom, etc. And now Pluto is defaulting back to that time, the spring, March 23rd through early summer, July 1st of 2020. And then when Saturn returned to Aquarius on December 17th of 2020 and met up with Jupiter, the vision, on December 20th, the winter solstice of 2020, the very first degree of Aquarius, the new age of Aquarius, which up until now has been frenzied and frenetic and harried and chaotic and not easy to contain. The brilliance never is, but this has been extra difficult. And so hopefully now with Pluto, the planet of transformation and evolution, transiting in Aquarius the next 20 years on and off, this brings a lot of change with society and with technology, and it's not going anywhere. Embracing how we can use it, but also focusing very much, again, with Saturn and Pisces, on mental health, on the arts, on creativity, which cannot always be remote. Even with learning, it needs to be, we're social beings. We need to do it organically as well as, remotely too. But so there's a lot to ponder. We have the equinox on March 20th. We have a new moon in Aries on March 21st. I'll do more. My voice is a little hoarse and I've got to do a Facebook Live, but I am doing a reading special right now for all the changes that are going on, and it's $65 for an hour reading, and I will be doing. I'll be writing a lot more about what's happening and talking a lot more because there is so much at play. And Mars finally leaves Gemini on March 26th, and it's been there since August 20th, and it's been out of bounds since October 22nd, which means it exceeds the sun's path by declination, does not play by the rules. And so that's going on. And then, today as I do this recording, Mars is squaring Neptune for a third and final time. And the first two times were on October 5th and October 19th of last fall. And this can be confusing energy. This can be very enervating and draining energy. And it can feel very directionless. And today is the final time. And Mars is out of bounds, so it feels more, I think it intensifies the fogginess. And tomorrow, the Sun meets up with Neptune at, at 7:39 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that brings light to issues because, we are now in a very strong era of Pisces, not just the age of Pisces, because Pluto is, bringing so much with the Aquarian story, but the Sun, Neptune energy, bringing light, bringing a lot of intuition and sensitive energy. And then on the 16th, Mercury meets up with Neptune at 1:13 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that can bring uncover in hidden information. It's very dreamy, intuitive, creative energy. It can be where you absorb others' energy, so being cautious of that. And the Sun squares Mars, and that happens at 2:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's combative energy, but good for getting things done. But Mars is out of bounds and still in Gemini at this point, so scattered energy. And then on the 16th, Venus squares Pluto at 3:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and Venus will be at the final degree of Aries, where it does not like to be. It is in its detriment, very aggressive, while in Aries, and it's squaring Pluto, which is at the edge of a cliff, right about to change signs, and Pluto is about to enter the sign of Aquarius on March 23rd. So Venus and Pluto are not in harmony. They are in combat. It's aggressive, contentious energy. And that occurs again at 3:59 p.m. And then Venus enters the sign of Taurus at 6:34 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it does love to be. And it'll be there through April 11th. Venus rules Taurus. It's in its dignity. And that's a nice, transit for all of us. And then on the 16th, let's see, then we've got Mercury forming a challenging aspect to Mars at, at 9:49 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on March 17th at 12:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And again, Mars is out of bounds, so aggressive, and Mercury is in Pisces, where it is in its detriment because it rules the opposite sign of Virgo, where it's very methodical and practical. It's very emotional and intuitive in Pisces, but not logical. So, and Neptune and Mercury are conjunct Neptune in Pisces right now. And so, and the sun's there too. So there is a confusing energy. Mars setting that off too, bringing confusion, very intuitive energy, but people being impulsive in what they do, not thinking clearly on the 17th and 16th, 17th. So I think it was 17th into the 18th rather. So being aware of that energy too. And on the 17th, the Sun meets up with Mercury at 6:35 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Very focused on communication and social activity. And then Mercury enters the sign of Aries on, on March 18th at 12, I think it's 12:24 p.m., 9:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on the 18th, and on the 19th at 12:24 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Mercury will transit in Aries through April 3rd. And it's going to set off the new moon, which is a new beginning. That occurs on March 21st, just a day after the equinox. I will do more. I will talk about the equinox soon. But we have that to honor on the 20th. Equal day and equal night, and a time to honor the season ahead. I wish you all a lot of luck, a lot of Piscean, confusing energy, but dreamy, meditative, manifesting, spiritual energy with which to work. So you take your pick and take care. Thanks.